If you're new to our channel, we'd love to have you join our little community. Just hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. We promise it will be worth your while.
Take off your clothes, Linda. I do love your jeans and top. Perfect for a girl like you, but this is better. Good. Think you aren't a big girl, as that will make shopping easier. She hung up the gowns. Lori, please look, I'll pay you more than Corinne, just don't allow me to try on stuff. She considered, then said, Tell you what, you get dressed right away without argument, and I won't tell her you tried to bribe me. How's that? I had no choice but knew what punishment would be next. I quickly took off the sweater and jeans, standing there in the bra and panties. Ah, I have that same style. From Victoria's Secret, right? I nodded. That was just what I needed to hear, that we wear the same style of underwear. She took the first gown, unzipped it, and held it open. Come on, girl, I don't have all day. Like a man going to his execution, I stepped into the gown. She pulled the gown at my body and slipped a strap over my head. She turned me around and started to zip me into my satin prison. She turned me back around. Not bad. Wow. Let's go show Karen. I had to grab the skirt since the hem reached the floor. Heels will fix that, Linda. I walked out into the main part of the changing room with all the mirrors and saw myself. I almost fainted. I was wearing a light gold brocade gown. The top, which I knew from my reading, was a bodice, halter style, and therefore sleeveless. The skirt was very full and had a tulle overlay. I rustled girlishly with every step. Karen laughed and clapped her hands. Lori started talking like a runway announcer. This is a very glamorous and sophisticated gown. Do you see the soft floral pattern on the brocade fabric? The skirt needs a crinoline, which we sell, and that will make it extra full and pretty. She'll need a drop waist. Strapless bra, so these don't show. She fingered my white bra. Except for my hair, I really was starting to look like a princess. I couldn't believe this was happening to me. Karen and Lori had me walk around and twirl, and even gave me lessons in curtsying, which I did a lot. The bodice was tight, yet even with that fabric and the really full skirt that went down to the floor, I felt totally exposed and vulnerable. Almost naked, Karen found out that they sell wraps too, and had one that went with the outfit. I was told to name 3 things I love about this dress. I felt so defeated and humiliated. Right now, I wasn't going to argue with anything at this point. I love the full skirt, Miss Karen. The brocade pattern is really pretty, and the tulle is really fun. They accepted that, thank goodness. And what don't you like about it, Linda? Lori asked me. I swallowed and answered. I looked at myself and just pretended I was looking at a girl and what I'd like to see on her, which is probably exactly what Karen wanted me to do. The gold is nice, but it isn't really me. That was true enough. I don't care for the halter. I think I'd like to have my shoulders covered, and I was running out of things to say. I thought really hard. I think my bodice is cut too low. Very good, Linda. Well done. See, you really do care about your gown. Karen seemed happy, which I guess was good for me. They started talking again to each other and had me turn around. Then it happened. While they were talking and ordering me, the worst humiliation happened. I got hard. I was getting aroused at all this fawning at humiliation. Before I guess I was too terrified at everyone finding out about my cheating. But now that was in the past, and I'd taken a huge step, and under this treatment, I was getting an erection. Karen saw the look on my face and got a very huge grin. She knew. Lori got up and led me back to my room. Come on, Linda. Let's do another one. I could breathe again when she unzipped me. I was glad to get out of it, but the next gown was quickly put on me. This was the purple one. It was so soft. This is chiffon. Doesn't it feel great? We girls are so lucky to wear such sensual fabrics. We girls? How could I even think I was a boy? I was out trying on prom dresses, for heaven's sake. This gown was odd. It had a square neckline, but also had a soft chiffon jacket, trimmed with beads, and had short sleeves. The gown itself had a tie back, which Lori made into a huge bow. A sheer overlay went all the way to the hem of the floor length of this, line-style gown with the empire top. Now, my whole body was draped in satin. This is fully lined, Linda, so you won't need a slip. I'm so lucky. Karen really liked this one too. I'd be surprised if there was one she didn't like. Again, I had to explain what I liked and didn't like. I adore the chiffon, Miss Karen. It feels great, and the jacket is a cute touch and purple is so pretty. I wish the skirt were fuller so I could feel like a princess. I think the bow is silly too. They loved my answers, and Karen actually agreed with me. The next gown was the worst. Pink. Pure pink. Not pale or bright, just a feminine pastel pink. It was made out of organza and lined in satin with beaded spaghetti straps. The bodice was fitted with what Lori said was princess seams and had a thin band of beads at the waist. The skirt was a line, but full. When I spun around, it flared out a lot. I also got to wear my first wrap or shawl. It was sheer, and I wore it looped through both my arms. I was always conscious of it there. Again. Exposed, but the fabric caressing me all over, and now with the wrap my arms were included. Holding the wrap restricted my arms, so I held them at my sides with my hands and arms held a bit up. Like a girl. And the pink. It was so pink. I could tell by their faces that this was their favorite so far. So I had to say it was my favorite. Karen insisted I gush. I love this gown, Miss Karen. First, the pink is adorable. I love the fabric. It feels so soft and nice, yet it flows so prettily over my body. And I love the wrap. I want to wear a gown that has a wrap. Please, can I? I twirled as ordered, and they complimented me on how pretty I looked in the gown. The beaded straps are also adorable. Any girl would love this gown. Corinne made me be more specific. I couldn't look at her, but I said, I would love to wear this gown to the prom, Miss Karen. Karen considered it. You are lucky we found one you liked so soon, Linda, but honestly, you really have to shop for a while to make sure you find the right gown. But yes, this is definitely high on our list. And so, I tried on gowns. Tons of gowns, of every style and shape imaginable. Long ones, short ones, knee length, strapless, with straps, thick and thin, or even double. Straps that crossed in the back. Some with short sleeves and even a few with long ones. We were there for hours. Sometimes other girls would come in and see what was going on. They'd get shocked and leave, or not care and try on their stuff. I got some rude comments. After all I had been through, I didn't mind that. The worst, though, were the ones who stayed and watched with Karen and Lori. They would make comments asking me about my other dresses, what boys I liked, and what hairstyle I wanted. I had to be nice to them and pretend that I loved being a girl. After a while, it became easier to say what I liked and didn't like about the gowns. I had no choice but to get into it. Corinne mentioned to Lori that this is what she was hoping would happen, and they both encouraged it. Inside, I was still hating all of this and seething, but a part of me had broken, and so I gave in and was, a bit, a girl shopping for her gown. I was getting exhausted. Finally, it ended, and as I was helped out of the last gown, Karen asked me a question that shocked me. Linda, I want you to tell me what gown you liked the most. I looked at her, and my eyes widened. Yes, Linda. Tell me which one you loved. What made you feel most feminine? What makes you feel most like a princess? And trust me, I will know if you don't make an honest answer, and you won't like the result if I think you are lying or if I don't like the answer." I stood there, in front of a dozen women and teens, in just a bra and panties. With all the mirrors, I could not see myself. I wanted to crawl into a hole and disappear. The only way this would end would be to make a choice. And it was easy to make. As soon as she asked the question, the answer popped into my mind. That surprised me a lot. There was a gown that I actually not only liked but loved and kept thinking about even when I kept trying to deny it. No, I didn't want to wear it again, and especially not in public, but some feelings were still there. What the heck was she doing to me? All the girls leaned forward, and Karen let me have all the time I needed. How kind of her. "Fa," I spoke up. I slumped my shoulders. I felt so tiny and weak. I really thought the pink one, that ball gown from Laura Lee, is just beautiful. Miss Karen. And if I had to pick now, then that is the one I'd love to have. There, I said it. I told everyone that I wanted a pretty pink prom gown. Karine gave me a huge smile. The girls burst into applause, and the salesgirls went to get the gown for me to try on again. It really was gorgeous. They brought one of their huge extra full bouffant slips and had me step into it. It was very tight around my waist and belly. I had to exhale to fit into it. It flared out at a 30-degree angle from my hips to my ankles. Then they pulled the gown over my head and down my body, making sure my arms went through the right locations for the straps and zipped me up. Another salesgirl put a tiara on my head, and 2 more fed my arms through a wrap. They turned me towards the mirror. Sure, I was obviously a boy, but from the neck down, I was incredibly pretty. The gown was a dream. It was made from a very pale pink satin. The bodice had princess seams, so it actually cupped my bra and made it look like I had small breasts. On the bodice were a number of small, bright pink beaded flowers at various locations, with matching small dangling strings of pink and white beads strung and circling around my waist. Slim straps, covered with small pink crystal hearts, went over my shoulders. I'd need a special bra for this outfit. The skirt was very full, with a layer of pink tulle, darker than the skirt but still not heavy, contrasting with the skirt and falling to floor in length even with the slip. The wrap was made out of matching pink chiffon, and it floated over my arms and draped on the gown. It was true. A princess would wear a gown like this, and right then, I was that princess. They had me walk back and forth with everyone complimenting me. Many made suggestions about how I should wear my hair and what I should wear in my hair, whether I should have gloves and what length they should be, and the types of shoes and purse I should have. Karine decided that this would be my prom gown. More measurements were taken with them marking it up. It wasn't a perfect fit, so I'd have to come back after it was altered and was told to bring my lingerie and heels. I was so overwhelmed, it only registered slightly that I had forgotten that I had even more shopping to do. At least my gown was picked out. I was feeling relief at that I had the gown and wouldn't have to do this again, yet still very much humiliated at the process. The ordeal finally ended. The gown was removed and I was able to change back into my jeans and sweater. After the gowns, I felt normal in the girl jeans and sweater, almost relaxed. Karen commented on this. "See, Linda, you feel natural in your sister's clothes now. You are coming along nicely. I know you don't believe it, but by the time the prom comes around, you'll be just as comfortable in that gown." Then she laughed, "And if you aren't, it won't bother me." I took her purse and put it on my shoulder without being asked. She was right. I was getting too used to this. The gown adventure totally overwhelmed me, and I felt like I had no defenses. I put a down payment on the gown, and we left the store. Instead of heading towards the parking lot, though, we went further into the mall. Where are we going, Miss Karen? I thought that we were here to just find a gown. Was I really that natural now? Talking about it? Yes, Linda, but we did really great today. You found a gown at the first place we went, and you were a very good girl today. So, I want to give you a reward. You've earned it, Linda. A reward. I didn't want to know. I tried not to get my hopes up, but then we turned into a store called Forever 21. It wasn't for adults. It was definitely for teens. Teen girls. What I was being turned into against my will. There were no boys in this store, and it was crowded. Karen was excited for being so good. We are going to get you a couple of outfits. And your own purse. And this is on me, Linda. A gift from one girlfriend to another. She laughed. Besides, that way your sister can borrow your stuff when you borrow hers. This is what she called a reward. Her rewards were in some ways worse than her punishments. I was hoping that compared to the gown shopping, this wouldn't be any big deal. I was wrong. Karen engaged me in conversation about the clothes, having me say how much I liked something or didn't. I had outfits held up against me, and I had to beg to try stuff on. She cheerfully explained her gift. You see, Linda, you can't just wear a gown and feel at ease in it. You need to have other pretty clothes and get used to being dressed up. Wearing a skirt is different from pants, and I want it to be second nature to you. That's why you are going to be dressing up a lot over the next 3 months. And these outfits will be a good start. Oh, this skirt is perfect. She held up a knee-length aligned skirt, which had a sparse embroidery of green vines with rose flowers on the end. It also had a scallop-edged lace trim at the bottom hem, and it is fully lined, Linda. That way you won't need a slip. Aren't you lucky? What do you think of the skirt? Other girls were watching. I cringed but clapped my hands. I love it, Miss Karen. This is one I want. Good girl, Linda. She held it up to my waist. Okay, here's a test for you. I want you to find a top that goes with it. You have 15 minutes. I better like it. She handed me the skirt. I'll go find you some jeans or capris. With that, she smiled, turned, and left me to shop. I hung my head and went looking. I'm not sure which was worse, when she picked stuff for me to do or had me do to myself. I found the top section. Some girls were there and noticed I was a guy holding a skirt. Then they looked at me more carefully and noticed my clothes. They laughed. Nice jeans. That is a lovely skirt you have there. I'm sure the boys will love you in it. I just mumbled something and looked through the racks. This store was insane. They didn't have any plain tops. All of them were ultra girly and feminine. Well, I didn't want Karen upset with me. I had no idea what to get. It was a riot of colors and styles. I calmed my mind and thought, the skirt was nice. Picture Karen in it. What if she were wearing it? What would she look good in? I picked 3. The first had a really soft, silky fabric that felt great. It was a hot pink kimono top with almost red, chiffon split sleeves. It had a deep crossover V neckline, smocking on the waist, and 3/4 split sleeves with ties at each of the ends. It was really pretty, and a teen girl said it would go great with my skirt. I thanked her and moved on. Some of the shirts were really ugly. My sister would love them. There was another, very girly again. From all the magazines I'd been reading, I knew how to describe it well. This was a black fluttercap sleeved top with a self-tie at the back, with pink contrasting trim at the neckline and empire. I thought I'd feel less embarrassed in this, but only slightly. I checked my watch. I still had some time, so I kept looking. Deep plunging necklines. Not for me. Oh no. The next one was just screamed that I wanted to be a girly girl. While I stared at it, a salesgirl came up. your friend Karen said, you might need help. She took it from me and held it up to my body. Girls love this embroidered woven camisole. See how thin it feels? I stared at the spaghetti straps, the embroidered floral pattern, and the trim below the bust. The built-in ruched crossover bra is super comfortable, and look how nice a bow you can make with the strap ties at the back. But wait, this one is too big. She found one that was smaller and in my size and took the other 2 tops and skirt. Come on, let me get you a room. I wanted this over quickly. I took off my sweater and jeans and put on that last top. Yes, I took the bra off and put the skirt on. It took me a while to wiggle into everything. The skirt zipped in the back and the top on the side. Spaghetti straps are weird. I looked at myself in the mirror. I was more girly than my sister. The sales girl called for me to come out, as did Karen, so I did. A gaggle of girls were there, of course, cheering me on and making comments. This was such a long day. The girls had me try on the other 2 tops. They loved them all, though the last was the favorite, followed by the first one I found. Karen handed me some pants to try on with the first top. The pair fit perfectly. A stretchy jersey, low-rise knit flare with a jeweled chain belt. There was piping trim on the waistline. At least they were black, but they were obviously made for a girl. The chain from the belt dangled down halfway to my knee. Everyone loved it too. Karen loved it so much she made me keep the pants and top on. I started to beg her not to, but she gave me a look and said, "Do you want to go shoe shopping today too?" I guess I should be grateful I wasn't wearing a skirt. Karen happily paid for everything. Most of this stuff was on sale. And we left the store. I was invited to come back anytime, and the sales girl even said they had job openings if I wanted to work. Karen told them I'd think about it. I wasn't amused. Thankfully, except for doing a bit of window shopping and trying not to draw attention to myself, we headed towards the exit. Karen called her mom on her cell and found out she was free to pick us up. As we left the mall, I thought about the clothes I had gotten as a reward for being good, and I had to know. But what if I had been bad? What would you have done if I picked a random gown, instead of the one that everyone loved and thought was perfect for me, Miss Karen? She grinned at me. I'm not sure, Linda. I would have invited your sister to the next store, and probably your mom too. At the very least, you'd also be wearing your new skirt home, and I would have gotten you a new yoga outfit. One that has a cute skirt. I swallowed. I'm glad I did the right thing. We waited on a bench for her mom to show up. Tell me, Linda, you really like your new gown, don't you? I didn't want to answer. I could have just told her yes, but she seemed to be able to read my mind. I took a risk. Miss Karen, may I speak the truth without fear of punishment? Please. Yes, Linda, this time, sure. She gave me a friendly smile. I took a breath. I want to say that I hate the gown, but honestly, I don't. It is very pretty, and any girl would love to wear it. Heck, I'd love to see you wearing it. I really would. I still don't want to wear it, but I don't understand what is happening to me, because truthfully, if I have to wear a gown, then I want to wear that one. I can't believe I even feel that way. Karen beamed at me. That is great. Linda, see, after only about a week of intense training, you are getting closer to your feminine side. I know you don't think you have one, but it is obvious that you do. Imagine how you will feel in 3 months when we go to the prom together. You might even enjoy it. No, Miss Karen, I hope I don't. Really, you've had a ton of fun. Can't we stop this? I don't want to like wearing gowns and doing all this girl stuff. She took my hand. It felt so good when she held it, but I also felt so weak, Linda. It doesn't matter. I'm not giving you any choice. I'm going to train you to be a girl. My girl, Every time you do something feminine, every time you embrace the girl with you, you will get positive reinforcement. Every time I catch you doing anything masculine, you will be punished and humiliated. It is fun seeing if I can make you into my pretty slave girl, and I have plenty of time, and now I even have some help. So it doesn't matter. Linda, my girl, I control your actions, and I'm going to enjoy seeing if I can control your attitudes. She paused and then asked me, now continue speaking openly. How does that make you feel? I lowered my head and gripped her hand tightly, terrified. Miss Karen, I'm scared to death that you might succeed, especially with how I felt today. I'm afraid, I feel incredibly weak, and I feel alone. Ah, well, Linda, it is good that you are afraid. It is good that you are terrified, and it excites me that I'm making you feel weak. She squeezed my hand back, but don't worry, girlfriend, you won't be alone. I promise you that. I wasn't sure how to take that. I didn't have much time to think about it, as her mom drove up, and during the drive home, I was ordered to gush about all the gowns I tried on. Her mom couldn't wait to see me on prom night and promised to take lots of pictures. She asked me if I was looking forward to my first prom as a girl. I looked at Karen, who was on the phone again, with a questioning look. Can I speak honestly? She raised an eyebrow and smirked. I knew how I was supposed to respond. Yes, of course, every girl wants to go to her prom. We pulled up to my house. Don't worry, Linda. I called to make sure you mom wasn't home. Be a good girl and listen to your sister. She waved me off and I ran in the house. My sister had a field day with me, more modeling and saying she wanted to borrow my new clothes. Just think, I can tell mom you bought them for me when you really got them for yourself. She then had me describe my new gown in detail. Next, she decided that since I had a skirt, I needed to learn how to sit properly. So there I was, standing in front of my little sister in my skirt outfit. I so wanted this to stop, but I knew that if I did anything at all, she'd call Karen and I'd be in even bigger trouble. Lizzie reveled in all the humiliation she sensed from me. It wasn't hard for her. Her lessons were just as bad. Always smooth your skirt under you when you sit, Linda, and keep your knees together. Now cross your ankles and rest your hands on your knees. Perfect. Now cross your legs, sliding one leg over the other. Excellent. I followed all her orders, getting drilled and learning. She then taught me to curtsy. All pretty girls can curtsy. I want you to curtsy to me and Miss Karen whenever you are given an order. It is better in a long dress or gown, but it will work with any skirt. Curtsying was humiliating. Hold the hem of the short skirt and pull it up slightly while I put one foot behind the other and bend my knee. I also had to lower my head and keep that pose until I'm allowed to rise. She had me curtsy over and over until I got it right. When my mom came home, Lizzie had me wait in a curtsy pose until the very last minute, and then I was allowed to run into my room to change. The month went by both slowly and quickly. Every morning I did yoga with Karen. I was getting fitter, but not stronger. I was just getting more toned and shaped. I actually felt I looked pretty good, but unfortunately I also looked better in my girl outfits. I made sure I knew my mantras, and with my sister's help, I was doing well with my prom scrapbook. Between that, the magazines they both had me buy and read, and the constant talking about fashion, I started not really looking at girls as sexual objects, but instead I only noticed what they were wearing. At home, whenever our mom wasn't home, Lizzie kept up the girly lessons. I think I tried on most of her clothes. She even took me shopping occasionally, but we didn't buy anything. That was something Karen wanted to do with me, and except for a pair of white 2-inch heeled sandals that she begged Karen to let me buy, I did all my clothes shopping with Karen. I don't even want to go into that shopping experience. She also decided that doing yoga with Karen wasn't enough, and I had to do those girl exercises from 17 prom. Push-ups for my arms and bench presses too. With very light weights, of course. You don't want muscle, Linda, just tone and shape. An opposite arm and leg lift for my back, crunches and trunk twists for my abs, and lunges for my legs and butt. I hate being a girl. The worst, of course, was the nightgown. Lizzie checked every night to make sure I was wearing it. I was always afraid Mom would barge in and see me wearing it, but fortunately, she respected our privacy. Liz didn't respect mine, so I wore an ultra-feminine nightgown every night, and I had to tell Liz and Karen how much I loved it. Some nights, I wore pink ribbons in my hair too. Others, I had on a facial mask for a while. And of course, every day, I wore my new secret violet dazzle that I had to buy for myself. My hair kept growing. Mom wanted to get it cut, but I had to tell her I wanted it to grow longer. She joked, "We'll have to get you barrettes soon if it gets any longer." Little did she know that I've already been wearing them and other hair stuff. Lizzie liked to do my hair as much as she could. I was her freaking Barbie doll and her slave. Mom sometimes caught me doing her chores, and I had to keep coming up with lame excuses as to why. 2 months. But the month did go by, and soon it was 2 months until the prom. Karen had us hang out in Lizzie's room, and I, of course, was wearing one of her outfits, a pleated knit skirt with asymmetric hem and a long pink ballerina-type crop tied over a white tank, and my sandals, necklace, and charm bracelet. Lizzie kept adding charms. I now had a cheerleader one and several more hearts. So I really jingled now. "So Linda," Karen began, "it is 2 months until prom, which means you have some new things to do. What does your list say?" I opened up my book and read it with dread. "Yes, Miss Karen, I have to start giving myself a weekly of manicure, hang out with guys I like, plan a post, prom party, and balance my budget." My sister clapped her hands. "Yay, we can finally start doing our nails together." Karine nodded. "You are my date, so I don't want you hanging out with boys." Thank goodness for small favors. Your budget isn't a problem. Although more money would be great. I have plans for our post-prom party. Pama. She looked at Lizzie. "Elizabeth, Linda will need something pretty, like a casual dress, to wear after the prom. Would you mind taking her shopping for that?" I hung my head as Lizzie went over to hug Karen. "Are you kidding? I'd love to." Karen laughed. "Good. That just leaves the manicure. Do you know how to give yourself a manicure, Linda?" I didn't, of course. I didn't want to either. But the month had broken me a lot, and I wasn't about to fight back. Not with all the mantras I was repeating. And I knew if I argued, my next mantra would be, "I love painting my nails in pretty girly colors." So I answered no. "Miss Karen, but they give tips in the magazines." And so I learned how to do my nails. Hands and feet. Once a week I'd clip my nails to the desired length, which was long for a boy but short for a girl, and then I'd smooth it with a file. I got lots of practice using the file while keeping my knees together and reading teen girl magazines. Liz made sure of that. Then I'd soak my hands in warm water for 2 minutes and then apply a cuticle cream. Next, I'd push back my cuticles with an orangewood stick, remove any hangnails with cuticle scissors, and wash and dry my hands. All of this before I even painted them. I had to go to the drugstore myself to get all that stuff, the files and polish and things. They made sure that I borrowed my sister's jeans and a cute top. I wore front and back V, necks, tops with cap sleeves, and tops with ribbon details. I'd carry purses. I'd get teased by the drugstore people, but not much, and they eventually got used to me. But back to my nails. I got a number of colors to try to match the pink gown, and Lizzie, Karen, and I spent many nights just doing each other's nails, usually at Karen's place. I seemed to be buying myself new nail polish every other day, always from the same store, and the girls at the counter got a huge kick out of that. They would make suggestions, and I had to buy whatever they said. Nail polish feels weird. It is cool on your fingertips, and you always know it is there. After a week, they had me wear clear polish on my fingers all the time, even during school, and various colors on my toes. Yes, toes. In addition to learning how to give myself and others manicures, I learned how to do a pedicure. Soak my feet and use a foot scrub or file to smooth my heels, the balls of my feet, and the sides of my pinky toes. Then, I'd apply a rich moisturizer. Going around with painted feet and clear painted nails. They were shiny, was a horror, and gave me one more thing to hide from my mom and everyone else. I hate saying it, but I got very adept at painting my nails. During this month, my sister continued having fun with me. I took all the quizzes from all the new magazines that I had to buy for both of us. Karen wanted my mannerisms better, so Liz drilled me in how to hold my arms up with a bent wrist, to exaggerate my femininity, or how to stand primly like a girl, with my hands folded in front of me and my feet together. With help from the nightgown, I learned how to maneuver in a long dress, sit in a dainty manner by scooping the gown under myself when sitting, and be very adept at curtsying. I also had to pose like all the girls in the prom magazines and from girl clothing catalogs. It never ended. Karen adored the improvements I was making. While Liz was doing this for a good laugh, Karen scared me more. She never let me forget that she was the one in charge, that I was doing this all for her, and that she was looking for a full attitude change. With my sister, I could get away with some complaining, as she loved knowing how humiliated I was. With Karen, it was totally different. She expected me to be thrilled with my newfound femininity and always kept me jumping. I soon learned to tell her, before asked, how much I loved the girl clothing I was wearing, especially the locket. I was always on my toes. She once asked, "Linda, I noticed while at the store that this month's issue of 17 had an article on hairstyles. What was in and what was out? What did you think about it?" I had to apologize that I hadn't read it yet, and that I didn't know I was supposed to get that specific issue. That wasn't a good answer now. Linda, you really shouldn't hold back. I expect you to read the major magazines, and for a girl like you, that includes 17, does it not? I agreed quickly. I'm sure it was just a mistake. As a reminder, how about you wear panties to school for the next week? Ever since then, I bought tons of magazines, and my sister just laughed at how much I read them without any more prompting. Next time, I was able to tell Miss Karen some of my favorite ways to look better for school, out of the 430. 7 listed in Cosmo Girl. While my grades didn't suffer, I honestly was studying more about how to be a girl than anything else. It was always on my mind, which was Miss Karen's plan. A Saturday finally came up when Mom had to run errands all day, so Liz decided we would go shopping for my after-prom dress. Great. She really liked pushing how far she could make me go, so for this expedition, while I wasn't wearing a skirt, it was almost as bad. I wore a yellow t-shirt with a huge pink heart in the center, a pair of mud jeans with a wide pink grommet belt, pink sneakers, and a clutch type of purse. She also put pink butterfly clips in my ever-growing hair, which now looked unisex. With the clips, it was definitely feminine, and made sure my locket was on the outside. You had to get really close to tell I wasn't a girl, but any salesgirl would know. By this point, I didn't dare argue, so off we went. She took me to JCPenney. She mocked me by having us walk through the boys' department. Remember when you used to shop in the section, Linda? She called me Linda in a normal voice, and I was ordered to answer her all the time. The girls' junior section was pretty large, with lots of other girls there shopping. Liz held up tons of stuff to me, asked me comment, and to tell her why I loved her pics. Now, what kind of dress would Karen like to see you in, Linda? Well, Liz, of course it has to be pretty. Not like a prom gown, but something fancy that is girly, hopefully in pastels or flowers. Karen loves it when I'm feminine. I clasped my hands together and tried to look wistful. I wanted to die. Lizzie laughed and started to look through the dresses, but I was the one who found it. It was easy. I just had to think about which dress I most did not want to wear, and that was the one I was sure they would like. And this was it. I called my sister over and showed her the dress in my size. "Linda, that is perfect," she squealed. "You are getting so good at this. You have to try it on right now." It was perfect. Any girl would adore it. It was a soft banana, line dress with a large pink flower print. It had a draping neckline, delicate spaghetti straps, and a transparent hem that went a bit below knee length. The dress was on sale for less than $20 and a perfect fit, so she insisted I get yellow heels to match. At least we didn't need a salesgirl this time, and I put on such an act that no one thought about me being a boy. Lizzie knew I hated all this and just gloated while taking pictures. So now I owned my first dress, not including the gown. Looking back, that shopping trip was the best thing that happened that day. When we got back, Mom was home. Her car wasn't there, as it broke down and needed minor repairs. So in I walked, dressed in my sister's clothes, holding a bag with a new dress in it. Since Mom was just in the living room reading a magazine, I was seen before I even knew she was there. To say she was shocked was an understatement. She didn't seem mad, but she was upset and demanded to know what was going on. I tried to explain that I lost a bet with Corinne, but my sister and I were caught so flat-footed, and quite frankly, my sister is a lousy liar, and so eventually everything came out, including my cheating in school. And that was when Mom hit the roof. While she was a bit mad at my sister for taking advantage of me, she was horrified that I'd actually cheat. She started yelling, but composed herself and sent us each to our room. She specifically said I was not allowed to change and that she was calling Karen's mom. She came up an hour later. I had tried to get some homework done, but I was too shaken up. Oh well, at least this was over. Since my mom knew, there was really nothing Karen could hold over me. My mom was much calmer. "So, Linda, is it?" "Yes, that is what they call me." I lowered my head. "I'm really sorry, Mom, about the cheating. I never did it before, and I'll never do it again." She sat next to me and looked me over carefully. "You know, Chuck, I believe you. We all make mistakes, but I do trust you, and I think you know what you did was wrong." I exhaled and hugged her, and she hugged me back. When we separated, she looked at me. "Quite frankly, I'm relieved to know why you've been acting so strange lately. Karen told me everything about the prom, yoga classes, all of it. But Chuck, you still need to be punished, and quite frankly, I think that Karen has come up with the best solution." "What?" "Mom, you can't mean that." "Yes, I can, Linda." She laughed a bit when saying that name. Not cruelly, just ironically. "I would have to punish you somehow, and this actually seems to be doing some good." I tried to interrupt, but she stopped me. "No, listen. You are much nicer to your sister now. Your grades are actually improving. You don't spend so much time playing computer games or watching television, and you are learning about women, although in a very odd way. So, you are continued to be Linda until the prom, and a bit after, doing whatever Karen and your sister have in mind. I've talked with her, and she isn't going to get you into any major trouble. This also means that you will be Linda at home too, as soon as you get home from school. If you don't, Karen said she would still tell the school, and quite frankly, I can't blame her. So I think you are stuck. It will be an excellent lesson for you. Crud. What could I do, though? Yes, Mom. She smiled. Good. Pearl. But don't worry, your sister is in a bit of trouble too for hiding this from me, so she'll be doing her own chores again. I'll go tell her now. That night, for dinner, I wore my new dress as my mom requested, and my sister dressed up also. They both called me Linda and gushed over my new look. Mom couldn't wait to see how I looked for my first prom. My little girl is growing up. It just kept getting worse.